Hello, everybody. Welcome to my brand new show. It's actually not really about me. I'm the host of this sucker. I'm really excited to introduce to you guys somebody that I met a few weeks back, and I'm so impressed with him. He has a blog, gave me an idea, he agreed to it. So here we are. Brand new show. It's going to be called Alon's Blog Club. Let me bring my new partner in. He's the star of the show, everybody. I'm just the eye candy. Hey, Alon, how you doing, brother?
What's going on? You were impressed by me?
I am. I don't need to fill your ego. You got one already, but you, my friend, write a really cool blog. What I like about it is it's intelligent. You cover a variety of topics. You have something called emotional relevance. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But I find it interesting. So many of these blogs, anyways, they can be hard to get through sometimes. So, and you're from Israel, which is cool. You have a really cool backstory. So there's a lot to you that we will decompact over time. We won't try and overwhelm people too much today, but oops, I think I just did something. There we go. I got rid of the blocks. But I wanted to do something a little different. I was, as you know, laid off a couple months ago from my former employer, and I had a show on Tuesday mornings that was called, well, it doesn't matter. Anyways, it was a print show. It was printed with Ira, but it doesn't matter. That show is no longer relevant to me. And I thought, you know what, this is something that a lot of people like to read, but they don't have time to read books. They just don't. And book clubs have been around forever, but not so much blog clubs. In fact, I don't know of any online. There might be some. I'm sure there are, right? But I thought, it's kind of fun. And then your first name happens to start with an A. So then, my little brain started going, hey, how about ABC?
Connected the dots.
Yeah, well, that's about as smart as I am, as I can put three things together at once. That's about it. But anyways, let's do this. Let's talk about the show concept so people understand what they're getting themselves into. This one's going to be a little bit different, of course, because it's the premiere. So it's going to be me and you. But each week, well, first of all, it's not going to be every week because you put out your blog frequencies every 2 weeks. So you're going to write a blog 1 week. The next week, we're going to have a show. We're going to talk about it. And that'll give people a chance to read it ahead of time, which I read your blog last week, which we are going to get into very much today because that's going to be the topic of the show. But then we're going to, each week, we're going to talk about your show, your blog. We're also going to introduce people to new, maybe new to them, blog writers. So they have a blog. It could be something completely, totally different. It might be something that's similar to yours, but it's probably going to be different. But anyways, we're going to try to introduce you to men and to women, people who have been in business for a long time, people maybe who aren't even in business. Maybe they do something else. And, maybe they just started their blog. Maybe they have hundreds of thousands of followers. I mean, we'll see where it goes. But I think it's going to be a lot of fun because it'll give people a chance to almost like 50-50. You get to prep for the show if you want to by reading your blog ahead of time. And also, there's something to do after the show, like homework almost, but the fun kind, right? Where you get to read. And then hopefully this will help everybody. I'm hoping like crazy that I've got 177,000 followers or whatever on here on LinkedIn and more on YouTube and Facebook, which, by the way, we're broadcasting simultaneously on all three platforms. So if you prefer Facebook or YouTube over LinkedIn, you don't have to come here to LinkedIn. I know a lot of people like YouTube because it's actually, there's no delay like there is with the LinkedIn. So there's a little bit of a delay. Anyways, so it'll be fun. So now that I've kind of explained the concept, tell us a little bit, what drew you to say yes to a crazy guy like me, my idea? And what do you hope to do with this show? What's the goal for you?
Yeah, man. First of all, my blog is called 2 Weeks Notice, a touch of emotional relevance every couple of weeks. It was more of a challenge for me that started by a few friends kind of challenging me. Dude, you are a storyteller and you got the vibe. You got the, you always share with us your experiences. You travel, you're in business, you whatever. Go ahead and everyone who knows me, who reads my blog, they always come to me and say, Alon, it's so you, right? So that's kind of, I've started writing it over 2 years ago, actually. And it's short for everybody who doesn't like to read and whatever. It's 3-4 minute read every time. And every time it's like a real story, real experience. My biggest thing, Ira, is to share my experience, to share my, what I preach. And like you said, we'll talk about emotional relevance. But every now and then I get an email, I get a note on LinkedIn, I get a call, and somebody tells me, I read your blog 2 weeks ago. I got a call from somebody I know who worked with me in the past. He said, I'm reading your blog, and I actually used one of your blogs in one of our management meeting. That's it. That's all I want to know, that there's some goodness, some impact there. I'm not saying I'm always right. I'm not saying that I invented anything. It's just, I guess, the way I tell it. So a couple months ago, some folks who've been reading my blog have started asking me, hey, what did you mean exactly by that? Or how did you come up with that? And we started talking about it. And then we said, hey, it's like a book club. And then I said, hang on a second. What if we start something called, a blog club, like a book club, but for blog? And this is pretty much was about around the same time you and I met, and I saw your platform, and I saw your, you basically with your character, Ira, and your, the fact that we can be us with one another. We don't need to pretend.
Right.
And that's it. We made it happen, which is awesome. I really, really, really hope people like the concept. I want people during this session to ask as many questions as possible related to the blog that I release the blog every other Thursday on LinkedIn. And then if you sign up to the blog, you get it via email the following Monday. And then we do the show the week after. So this is my take on it. And I don't know if, Ira, how you can tell how many people are on and who's on, but I'd love for it to be for people to ask questions or poke or whatever.
We got a bunch of people on all the different platforms, brother. It's a lot of fun. We'll get thousands and thousands of you each and every time we do this. So, one of the things that I love about doing simultaneous broadcasts is we can get people in a variety of ways. Some people prefer an app or a platform over the others, the personal preference. I love LinkedIn. That's where I hang out most of the time. But right now it looks like we got 31. We're oscillating in the 30s right now on LinkedIn. But I want to go back to this. I don't know if you saw this. Let me pull this up. This is your blog right here. So we're going to be talking about this all the time, guys. In fact, I want you guys to get on here with me right now. Go to alonzabert.com, and there's the link floating there in the ticker banner down at the bottom. But you have got just a ton of, pardon me as I'm doing this on multiple screens here. I'm trying to make it all straight, but you've got a ton of material. Like I haven't got to the end. There's the end, right? So there is just all these different individual blog articles that you've written for people to consume. And like I said, we're going to talk about this one today, which is your latest. The best technology in the world is a technology that, and then you tell the story. I won't give away the punchline, but but you might have noticed, like when we got on, there was no, hey, can you hear me? Can you see me? I'm just anyways, right. So I want you guys to go on there for a couple of reasons. A, bookmark that sucker. If you don't know how, what you're going to do is you're going to hit this little star right here, and that's going to save it for you so that you can save it. Now, the other thing you might notice, now you guys can see my screen. This is something that I started doing a long time ago, a couple of years ago now. When you find somebody's profile on LinkedIn that you really like and you don't want to miss their content, go to their profile page, go to their activity feed, and then bookmark that. And then go visit that however frequently you want. You will never miss Ira's content or Lon's content ever again.
That's a good tip, Ira.
Well, I do this for a living.
That's a good tip, Ira.
So Then once you've got all that done, I want you to read this thing if you haven't read it yet, because we are actually going to talk about this blog in a minute, and we're going to get into what makes it brilliant and why I liked it and why I was excited to have this be the first one for the show. So we'll come back to that in a little bit. Okay. So first, my friend Alon, where did we meet? We met on, I believe it was Exit Your Way Roundtable, right?
Damon Pistulka's network group. Yes. What a great guy.
Damon is amazing. Damon is one of the co-founders along with Andrew Cross. And Andrew's actually on the show right now. At least he was.
These two folks.
That guy right there. Yeah. So
let me tell you, hey Andrew.
Yeah. So they run Exit Your Way. You might notice there's a little logo behind me with Exit Your Way. It's because I am part of the club. I work with them as a contractor, helping with the marketing and sales effort. And so we met. Yeah, that's where we met, right? At the Remo Roundtable on a Thursday. So if you guys are looking for a place to network, to meet people, like how did Alon and I get together? It happened very, very fast. We met at a table at a networking event. And
virtual table, might add.
I'm sorry?
I said virtual table.
A virtual. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is all networking online. We do it Thursday mornings, every Thursday. It starts at 7:30 a.m. Pacific. That's 10:30 a.m. Eastern. We have a virtual networking event where there's, I don't know how many tables, 25 or 30, whatever tables there are. But, you can have 6 people at one table and you see everybody who's at that table and you talk to them just like Alon and I are talking now. And then, at 8 o'clock Pacific, they have a roundtable discussion, a presentation, if you will. And then after that is over, they have more networking. And every week I get to meet cool people. You're one of the people that I met. That's why I wanted to give that by way of introduction, how we met. And so people can understand, because I get this a lot. People go, Ira, you have 177,000 network connections on LinkedIn, which actually is not accurate. I have followers, not connections. I have 30,000. That's the max. But they go, you can't possibly know everybody. And they can't be great network connections. I'm like, look, your network is what you make it to be. If you take the time to introduce yourself to people, don't spam them with the crazy sales pitch. I've never pitched you anything. Like, we've talked about stuff now, but I've not pitched you and you've not pitched me. It's just like, hey, what do you do? What do you do? And then we kind of figured out some ways to work together, which is really cool. And we are working together on a few different projects, not just this, which is neat. That is right? Good. So that's where I want to tell people, like, if you're having trouble making traction right now, getting progress, there are things like Exit Your Way's Remo Roundtable discussion that you can utilize to help you kind of get moving forward in a positive direction. You don't have to rescind or recede whatever business momentum you had, and you can actually find ways to make great gains. So there's that.
Yeah. It's, the amazing thing with networking or a platform that allows you to network, like Exit Your Way.
Did you see this?
No.
Oh, well.
Andrew.
I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah. Valerie, right?
People in the comments, they are going to throw us off. I'm just going to tell you that right now.
Yeah. Hey, Kelly's right. We're also, through Exit Your Way, we both have now become part of, Canano's club.
Yeah,
Kelly Robinson, and she's a force. Let me tell you something. She is a force.
I do the SEO for Kelly for her business, and it's an absolute pleasure. She has a great business. She's one of my friends, and I support all things Kelly Robinson. So yeah, my bad. It's an honor.
What I wanted to tell you is that when we finish the call, usually at Exit Your Way, and there's a networking at the end of the presentation, whatever, like people stay for like another hour and a half, just, chit-chatting. Like, wow, this is, people you want that. So yes, thank you, Andrew, again. Thank you, Mr. Pistulka. Good, just great people, really great people. It's awesome.
No doubt about it. All right, brother, let's get into your blog. I'm going to put us on the side for the second. Again, Here's the address for those of you who are still looking, who haven't found it yet. And if somebody wants to let me know in the comments, that'd be super cool. If you found his website, let's get some new followers for Alon here today. Right? Follow him on LinkedIn. Go to his website, bookmark it. Find that blog page, which is right here.
Yeah, you can sign up for the blog so you get an email every 2 weeks.
Yeah, give him your email. He's not going to spam you. He's not trying to sell you anything. Okay, so this one, tell us about this. Tell us. Do you want to? I have a couple ideas what we could do because they're not terribly long. We actually could read them. We could read them, right? But why don't you just give us the synopsis and then I'm going to ask you some questions about it.
The entire essence of emotional relevance, if you ask me for my elevator pitch, I will simply say, do you know how sometimes you meet somebody and you just feel there's something there? You feel there's a connection. And every time I ask this question, people say, oh yeah, I know there's sometimes. And then, you ask them, when does it happen or why does it happen? How does it happen? Right? So in essence, emotional relevance is I'm working with executives or sales teams or customer success teams to teach them how to create that emotional experience, use it as an emotional anchor, and then trigger it again and again and again, because it's proved biologically, physiologically, scientifically that it helps in building the relationship, building the trust, which eventually leads to more business. Okay, that's in a nutshell what I do. So I'm going to do the same thing here. You asked me about the idea behind this blog. We've all been there. We've all been there, especially now online with
that's what I'm looking for. Sorry, wrong screen.
We've all been, but even now, you know what, Ira, let's play along with this. Wrong screen, we keep going. You didn't stop and say, and I didn't stop, and I can't find the screen. Oh, it's not sharing. Oh, can you hear me? Where technology is not working. The problem with that is that it takes a lot of attention from the actual, what you're trying to say, the topic, the subject, etc. So the whole point of this blog is that, and I compare it, I grew up playing basketball, right? I compare it in the blog to...
Are you going to tell everybody how tall you are?
I'm 6'4".
Why do all the people I hang out with, they're like trees? You know what I am? I'm the shrub next to the tree.
By the way, Alon in Hebrew means an oak tree. So thank God I came out 6'4", Ira.
Right, because otherwise you'd be a nub.
Yeah. But I compare it to a good basketball game, a good referee in a basketball game.
Yeah.
They doing their best work when you don't notice that they're there.
Yeah, you're skipping to the end of the blog here, which I really loved this analogy at the end. So if you guys are Michael Jordan fans, I love Michael Jordan. That's really when I got into basketball, was because of Michael Jordan. And you talk about that here at the very end of the blog. Awesome. So you sum it up right there.
What I refer to is in technology, and people, I've worked with sales globally. I've managed teams. I've sold, large accounts. And every time I run into the scenario where people come to show or demo a technology and they focus on the technology or the feature and functionality versus the story it tells, versus the message, the value that they're trying to do. The same thing here online. We all live online right now. We all live online. Could you throw Andrew off the show, please?
Yeah, he just, I don't know.
Anyways,
I don't even know what to say.
Andrew, it's been nice to meet you, Andrew.
Right?
Yeah.
Right. So start sending your Bitcoin requests to Andrew Cross. So Ron Craig will appreciate that.
We all live online. And we're watching a presentation, we're part of a discussion, and all of a sudden, somebody, you can't hear their mic, or, they're sharing their wrong screen, etc. So what? So what? Okay. Everybody understand it's online. It's just the technology. So there are two things here. There are two things are important. One, from the technology standpoint, right? Zoom is very successful because the folks that came out from WebEx decided to come up with Zoom and basically say, we're going to take everything that they use as a patch and make it the mainstream, right? They designed this tool to be an online conference, technology. So look, when you go to buy a car, do you really care how many engineers work on the assembly line? Do you really care what the bottom of the car is made of? You want to go into the car, press the button or turn the switch, whatever, and you want it to work. You want it to work, and you want to make sure that the speakers work. That's most of us, right? Same thing here. When we are online, when we use technology online, I use the online technology as an example in this blog, right? And I'm gonna jump to the bottom line or the punchline for a second. The best technology in the world is technology you don't even know is there.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
It serves you for the actual purpose that you want. Is that a good answer?
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. I loved it. When I read that, I was like, that's exactly right. And I think we all painstakingly could play a video in our head of this scenario that you laid out in the beginning of the blog, where it's like you're excited, you've been waiting, this has been on your, like, look, there's people that have been waiting for weeks for this blog.
So why don't we try to, you said something interesting. Let me try to read that part. You mind?
No, not at all. Let me put it on the screen so everybody can you read and we'll scroll along with you. Where are we starting? At the beginning?
Yeah. The scenario. You just talked about the scenario, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And then later on we'll get to the actual tips, right? That I have there.
Yep. Let's go.
Every blog, by the way, I try to give, and this is only recently because of some feedback. People said, please give us some practical tools. Like, okay, you told us the story, you emphasized the pain, give us some, action. So I started doing that. So,
which I do like that too, by the way. I think I didn't have that conversation with you, but I love it.
All right, awesome. So you signed up for an online presentation, super interesting topic. There's a famous speaker. You're excited, got your water tumbler ready, some snacks. You connect a few minutes early to confirm your speakers work properly. You are ready. Anxiously, you glance at the watch, count a few seconds that are left before go time. Host comes on, welcomes everybody, and drum rolls, presents the famous speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, enough of me now. Without any further ado, please welcome. Your heart is about to burst out of excitement. You can literally feel all of the 342 participants' hearts beat together. And then nothing happened.
I was being a little bit of a smarty pants because it was for dramatic effect, in case you guys were wondering what I was doing there. Sorry.
So you feel everybody's hearts beating together, and then nothing happens.
Nothing.
You take a sip of water, picturing your famous speaker, unmuting their mic. Crickets. Silence. You check your speaker again, make sure that they work, no issues there, and still no word from the speaker. A minute and 23 seconds go by, which, it feels like 2 hours. And then you hear the host say, we're having a small technical issue. Please bear with us a moment. Okay. Another 2 minutes go by, and then maybe now, hello? You could swear you heard your famous idol voice through the mic. Can you hear me now? Same voice asked again. And you scream, yes, I can hear you. But of course, since you and everyone else are muted, no one hears you. Then the host comes on and says, yes, we can hear you. Please go ahead. Okay, this is not really clear how I share the slides here. This online technology is confusing. Oh, I think I figured it out. On the screen, you look at what appears to be the speaker's family Christmas card. Right? So, hi everyone. The focus
Hang
on
on
my
a second. Hang on a second.
What?
I have to stop you right there. That's the funniest thing. That has happened to me like 17,000 times in my life. Oh my goodness.
I have a good friend who says that I am the guy that says out loud what everybody else thinks. We've all been there. That's the thing. We've all had it happen. Okay. And the point is, yes, try to be prepared, whatever, but it happens. Then
Yeah.
what?
It's just so funny because I've seen what I think are some of the smartest people in the world make those same mistakes. And
Yeah.
so, I mean, I know people watching this are like, first of all, they're laughing. Second of all, they're like, oh my goodness. But you're going to get to this in a minute because you got the tips coming up. But oh my goodness, there's really no reason for that to ever happen. You and I practiced this even for this show a couple days ago just to make sure we got all the kinks out. I just don't understand why people don't do that. But anyways, back to the blog. Sorry.
No, you're absolutely right. And if we made a few people laugh, that's made my day.
I'm sure we did. I promise you.
So they're sharing their Christmas photo. And hi, everyone. The focus of my presentation today is, and then the host, of course, abruptly comes in. Sir, I think you have the wrong picture on the screen. Oh, I'm telling you, this technology is confusing. So this is the synopsis. And yes, it sounds familiar. We've all been there. I'm just going to continue for analyzing what is happening. Two things that are happening. One, as we go along, Ira, we'll talk more about emotional relevance, but basically the emotional relevance for that technology that they're using right now, whether be it Zoom or WebEx or GoToMeeting or remote, doesn't matter, is being impacted by the comments and by what's going on. Negatively, of course. Okay. The incident you just had with that speaker talking negatively about that specific technology is going to be engraved in your mind to some extent, that next time you hear the name of that technology, or you being asked to recommend an online technology, or you need to select that technology, right? Your mind immediately is going to go to that scenario and connect it with a negative experience. So, and this goes for everything that, this is just an example on the online technology, but could be with anything else. So that's one thing. The second thing is the focus of the session is now on the technology, is not on the content.
Yep.
Okay. Everyone's attention is now trying to resolve the technical issues. And as you very well know, right, about 70% of the participants are dying to reach out through the screen, right, and say, no, click here. Did you try this? Click here.
Do that again. It's like,
right?
Right.
But this is how we all, I'm sure there are people laughing like right now saying, yes, that's exactly it, because you want to help. But now the focus is on that. By the way, 70% want to do that. 30% already left.
Yeah, they're gone. They're gone.
Right?
I love it. What you said. They're watching, what was it?
Outlander.
Yeah.
I love Outlander. So I had that picture.
You're going to get somebody on YouTube. They're just going to keep scrolling, man.
Yeah, exactly. You lost them.
Yep.
So those are the two kind of elements in the synopsis.
Like you want to kiss that girl?
She is gorgeous.
You look like you're ready to make out with her right there, though.
I'm adoring her, man. Are you kidding me? This is she is. She's gorgeous. I don't know if you've seen that show or not, but
I don't know. I don't watch TV, man.
Okay.
You'll learn more about me. I work 24 hours a day. It seems like I don't have time for TV.
Hey, I don't judge, but with my ADHD, sometimes I need something that I don't need to think about before I go to sleep.
Yeah, I totally got you.
Yeah. So I don't know if you want to pause here real quick and see if anybody wants to comment or question or anything we just talked until now.
Yeah, if you guys have comments, go ahead and put them in the comments for us, and we will pull them up here and see what we got.
So while they're
Scottish Jamie.
Oh yeah,
you're gonna have
to right, Valerie. That's right, Valerie. How does he call her? Sassina. I
I don't even know.
Fraser.
And Andrew is losing followers by the second.
Oh my God. See ya, Andrew.
He can't.
LeBron. Give me a break.
We'll get him tomorrow.
Yeah. I know what kind of mask, what face mask I'm going to wear on the show tomorrow.
We got some love for Valerie's comment there, and then Paula's still something, but we don't have any questions yet. So
Okay.
We've either stumped them or maybe they're just being bashful for the moment. But the biggest thing that I want to tell people with all this is that most of it is preventable if you just do a dry run. You don't even have to go on a show to test your mic, to test your camera, to check your background, your lighting, all that stuff. You can start a Zoom session or whatever you use and check all of those things ahead of time. But you really should try to be prepared. You know, here's one thing that I do. I close everything down. Like I turn my Outlook off. I turn everything off. So my phone's on silent. You want to do that stuff. Now, look, I have a huge job seeker following. You guys know me from Project Help You Grow, and we help job seekers connect with recruiters and employers for free around the world. Right now, most interviews are being done via video. So it's kind of the same idea, even though it's a little bit different. But the concept that I tell job seekers is, look at my face. I'm well lit. Now, I'm not a handsome person. I can't change that. It is what it is. But I have my virtual background setting. Now, if you don't have a virtual background, Alon, you're not sitting in front of a virtual background, but it's clean. There's nothing distracting, taking away from you, who is the target, right? Exactly. Your lighting is good. We can see your face. You don't want long shadows. You don't want to come across a mystery. And oh my goodness, people, for the love of God, please stop putting the camera at an upward angle so I can look up your freaking noses. Don't want to see the bats in the cave. Just don't do it. You need to get that camera angle up so it's coming slightly down. Look, both Alon and I have the exact same camera angle for a reason. That's the way it should be. So get it up above your forehead, usually somewhere about 6 inches or so, and then angle it down just ever so slightly. Ladies, you're going to love it. It's going to help you look a little thinner. Not that you need to, just saying. It does help with that.
So
too.
I want to say something about virtual backgrounds before we go back to the blog. Do you remember how back in the day PowerPoint came out?
Mm-hmm.
And you remember when PowerPoint came out and you did a presentation and you started doing all the swoosh and all the animation, and it was so cool for about 6 months. And then after 6 months, it got so old and so childish, then you stopped doing it. And then 2 years later, you attended a presentation, somebody in PowerPoint, and they started doing swoosh again. And you're like, oh my God, really? This is so like 2 years ago. Same psychological concept is now happening with virtual backgrounds, right? People, I'm begging you, when you have a virtual background, have something static, have something solid.
Yep.
I mean, we all saw that you can have a nice boardroom in the back with alligators on and moving. Okay, we all saw it. Very cool. It was awesome for about 2 days. Okay, we want to focus on what we need to focus on.
Right.
Okay? The other thing is, it doesn't have to be anything fancy, right? My background right now, it's not fancy. It's a curtain, which is really nice, a green behind it, but I know the lighting is going to be bad if I open it. Yeah. And you don't have to be a scientist to do what Ira just said, right? Check the camera, and that, by the way, is my first tip. So how about we use it as a segue to go back to the story?
Yeah, for sure.
So somebody asked me about Zoom fatigue after talking to me, actually reading a blog before, and they asked me about, what do I recommend to do about Zoom fatigue? And that really got me going and got me thinking, got me going, because my tip is just think of Zoom as the facilitator, not as the issue. When you talk about Zoom fatigue, you worry about Zoom. You worry about the technology. Stop worrying about technology, because once you're not worrying about the technology, then you're worried about you, what you do, what you're selling, what you're presenting, what it is that your work. Ignore the technology. Just
Right.
and part of it is exactly to do what you just said. Do a dry run. Get familiar with it. Okay, I understand some people are technophobics, etc. Fine. So I trimmed it down to 4 tips, if you may. One is what you just said. Check your sound and camera. Okay? Don't avoid it. Don't think it's nothing, especially in the online world, in the virtual world. The visual has tons of impact. Because we don't see each other, we're not next to one another. Visual is super impactful. So everything on the screen, by the way, you can use it for advantages as well, for your advantage. Okay, and then we can talk about it in another blog or session. By the way, even now you brought something on the screen, right? I looked because the visual really impacts us.
Yeah, there's no doubt. That's actually partly why I'm doing it.
The second thing is always have a phone number of the dial-in number available, right? Because your mic all of a sudden may get, I don't know, whacked or something, or your internet all of a sudden goes down.
Right.
And you'll be able to dial in it immediately and continue from where you were. Okay, so always have the phone number ready. The third one is, and this, if you can look at my blog, I wrote, stop, pretty please, saying things like, can you see my screen, everybody?
Oh yeah, that's up at the top. It's up here, but
no, that's the tip number 3. If you scroll down.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Right.
It's right here. Yep.
Yeah. Or can you hear me now?
Hallelujah from me as I was reading. I was like, hallelujah, just go.
Yeah. Because what happens when you say, can you see my screen? That's it. I mean, now everybody's thinking again about the technology. Everybody's thinking about, don't bother. And this leads to the fourth kind of pointer here, which is just keep going. Just keep going. Your mic gets choppy, or, you shared the wrong screen. Doesn't matter what it is. Just keep going.
Yeah,
okay?
It's not gonna hurt anything. Look, like if I accidentally click on this for a second, you keep talking, I will get it back. It isn't gonna hurt anything. Or, oh my goodness, you might see my YouTube screen instead for a second. Again, no big deal.
Back in the day, here is an analogy that touches the same psychology of it. Back in the day when we were on the phone and the call would drop, we would call each other back and actually ask each other, oh, what happened? Why did the phone call drop? Today, if that happens, we just keep going.
Right.
Now, it's interesting. There's a reason for it. A few reasons. One, the technology producers have realized that they don't have to be super excellent, okay? Because we as consumers accept mediocrity, accept the fact that it's good enough. It's good enough. And once we accepted that, when the phone call drops, I'm not saying I agree with that, but once the phone call drops, we just keep going. Same element here. We all understand that you shared your wrong screen or your microphone doesn't work. Just keep going. Focus on the content, focus on what you're doing, not how you're doing it. And that will help you a lot with Zoom fatigue or so-called whatever else you want to think about. So anyways, that was the point.
No, it's an absolute great point. And the blog, I hope you guys are either reading it or saving it. You've gone to the website now and checked it out. Let me get that back on. Speaking of technology, here we go. AlonZybert.com. Hit the bookmark thing so you can save it and go through his whole page. I mean, he's got a lot of neat stuff on his website. and he's a handsome fella. Like I said, he's like 7,000 feet tall. So there's that for you all too. But then hit the blog. We're going to be doing this again every 2 weeks. Next week, a new blog comes out. Do we have a clue yet what the blog is, or you haven't settled on a topic yet?
I have a clue, but it's a process. Usually what happens, thank you for asking. Actually, somebody asked me the other day, how do you come up with those ideas? So I'm an emotional guy, as you can tell by now. Usually something that pisses me off or that really makes me excited, like happy. Some post here on the blog I wrote about like great service and great examples of service, etc. And I try to tie it to the emotional relevance methodology. But usually it's a process. I write notes, I take ideas when I run into them, and then 2 days before, I already have a solid draft that usually the day before I change it.
Yeah, it happens.
Then I run it by my own checks and balance mechanism, and that's it. So
but it's fun. And this is something that I'm actually going to ask each and every guest blog writer. I actually write my own blog. In fact, I'm going to pull that up on the screen real quick. So you guys may or may not know, Project Help You Grow's website. I have a blog on here, and I write blog articles specifically for job seekers. So it's usually something along the lines of, they're having a problem with something. I wrote one. This is fractional work, which is my last one. The one before that was keyword ninjas. These are things that will help you, find a job. So for me, for all of us, we have a process that we go through when we're writing a blog. For me, I typically write my blogs at midnight. It's the end of the day. And usually what will happen for me, and we'll ask this for every author because I think this is fascinating. When do you write? Why do you write? How do you write? And I would like to ask you those questions too. So, you've kind of answered those a little bit, but, for me, the why I write is because I'm trying to help the job seekers get through some technical difficulty. It could be the keywords. The reason why I wrote that one is because keyword matching with the ATS is vital to getting the interview. If you don't keyword match, you're not likely to get the interview. So that's an example, right? I'm trying to fix a problem. When I write, the reason I write so late is because it's really funny. I'm a percussionist. I play the drums. I play all kinds of instruments, actually.
Wow.
But most drummers, their hearing is horrible because we've blown them out over the years. I'm the opposite. I have what we call super hearing. So I'm always walking around with these things in my house because I have 8 kids. They're noisy. Every one of them, noise makers. So I'm like this all day long. And I could still hear, but not nearly as much. Anyways, at midnight, everybody's asleep. The house is quiet, and I can really think. And my best ideas come at that time. So that's one of the reasons why I work late. It's because it's like, that's when I'm the most productive. I used to get up really early. I used to get up at 4 a.m. and go to bed. I'd go to bed at 10:30, 11 o'clock, and I get up at 4 a.m. But now I do kind of the opposite. I'll stay up till 2 o'clock a lot of times, and then I'll get up at 7. And so that's kind of been my routine. But every blog that I write is for the sole purpose of helping somebody get over a challenge. So for me, the ideas come throughout the day. I get all these emails from people at Project Help You Grow or DMs on LinkedIn, and people say, hey, I'm having this trouble or I'm having that problem, or, do you know anybody who's hiring? And it's like, there's lots of people hiring right now. Anyways, so for you,
Ira, I'll tell you something kind of personal, but we're here and we're us, like we started,
it's
right?
just you, me, and 100,000 other people.
So I am a performer, at heart. And my biggest driver is the feedback. we don't need to go to my childhood right now and all the shit that I've gone through, etc. But throughout the years, I learned that I need the feedback. I crave the feedback, right? And so I said earlier, I'm a storyteller. And once people started pushing me and friends and colleagues, etc., dude, you have a lot, the way you share it, etc., start writing a blog. When the feedback came and that I realized that I'm actually impacting somebody positively,
Yep.
that was magical for me, right?
Yep.
So originally is to get the feedback. I will admit, I need the feedback. I want it. Okay. I need it. Sorry, guys. I need it.
Nothing wrong with that. There is nothing wrong with that. Yeah.
But if it's helping someone, so yes, there you go. Paula just wrote, I write about experience.
She's a writer. She'll be on our show soon. Paula, you're officially invited. You're officially invited. I actually just got done doing her website this week because her blog site was not. It needed some love, anyways. So she'll be on. But hey, you got a new follower. Check this out.
I saved it. I was unable to get it
today
before this.
But you got it now.
Dan.
Welcome, Dan.
Thank you for joining, Dan. Dan is, I actually spoke to him this week. He's awesome.
This is Curtis Tompkins. He's the author. He actually just wrote a book. He's the author of, he's a blog author and a book author. He owns Job Ready Today. And his book just came out. It's called Resume Writing Simplified. And actually, I have a copy of it. I have a copy of it right here. Just got done reading it myself. So there's Curtis Tompkins' book. You can buy it. As you can see, it's not very thick. It's 50 pages, folks. You can get this thing for $6. What this is really meant to do is to help people get past that ATS system. The applicant tracking software system does a screen when the resumes are first inserted into the system when you hit apply. And a lot of people are getting screened out because they have a wrong format or they haven't done that keyword matching that I was talking about. And in his book, he addresses that and more. And again, it's only $6. You can buy that on Amazon or go to jobreadytoday.com. I'll actually get that up in just a second in the notes for you guys, so you guys can go there and buy that.
One of the biggest things from Curtis, and I read some of it, is he talks about how he recommends people when they write their resume to write a professional summary versus an objective statement. Which
the statement is the same for everybody, isn't it? It's I want to find a job and pay my bills. I mean, we know what your objective statement is, dude. You're hungry. You want to eat.
Yeah. No, I think it's dead on.
Yeah. So you guys can get that book if you want it. It's there in the comments. Jobreadytoday.com. Okay. So when do you write your blog? Do you write it later or earlier, or just it varies? Do you have a routine?
It's funny, yes.
You told us it's a couple-day process to.
So I take notes so I take a phone, notes on my phone. I take notes online, and then usually 2 days before, I kind of look at what I wrote, and then here's what I found interesting. About 3 days before, so my next blog comes out next week on a Thursday. So around Monday, I'm gonna start paying more attention to everything I'm going through, right? In relation to the blog.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to start on Thursdays when your blog comes out. I'm going to make a post because I want to help build the show audience up. So I'm going to make a post after the blog is officially released, and I'm going to share the blog. I'll also put the link to the previous week's live show because you can watch this after it's over, and then people can kind of get excited for the next week, and hopefully we'll keep them coming back for more. We're at 26 right now, it looks like, but we've been cycling somewhere between 50 and 30 most of the show, cool. which is really cool. I was telling this to somebody else. Somebody asked me one time, they're like, only 30 people watched it. I'm like, no, that's how many people are on at any given moment. And that's just on LinkedIn, because what'll happen is we'll get off and there'll be like 700 or 1,500 viewers. And you're like, well, I never saw that many. It's because people come and go. It's not, they don't sit here and watch us the whole show. I wish they would, but they don't. We'll
try to get them hooked.
But here's what'll happen. we'll get people who will watch these by the time, like I said, by the time this thing is over, we'll get, 5,000, 6,000 views, most likely on the first episode. We'll probably get that up to 20,000 on a regular basis as the show audience builds. People just have to figure out that this is kind of something they want to actually watch. I talk to so many people who, when they're being honest, not publicly because they don't embarrass themselves, but privately about reading books. And they just don't read them because 200 pages intimidates them. This is one of the reasons why these types of books by Curtis, I'm talking to another friend who's about to publish another book, same size. These books that are, 40 to 60 pages are doing really well right now. A, the price point is low, which people like. And B, you don't need 3 weeks I read this in one sitting. This took me an hour to read it. Right. So
Ira, I got a few people that told me that what I should do is write a book that combines all the blogs that I've done so far, right? And add some color and some stories behind some of the blogs, right? But put all the blogs together in a book, right? I'd love to get your feedback, and everybody else who's on and maybe listening and would love to,
She's talking about some people do have time to read. Certainly, there are some of us who still like to read. I try to read all the time because I learned a long time ago readers are leaders. Not all readers are leaders, but all leaders are readers. I truly believe that.
But just to make sure that audiobooks count as reading, right? Come on, Ira, with my ADHD,
I think so. I don't know. For me, I don't even actually, I'm old school. I read the King James version of the Bible because I'm old school. I still read paper. I personally love hardcover bound books. Give it to me. Let me crack that seal, man. But I know a lot of people are going to audiobook, and I'll tell you, full disclosure. Now, my last job, I drove a lot. I used to have to drive 2.5 hours each way for my commute, and I would listen to audiobooks in the car. So absolutely, I was just playing with you a little bit. Personally, I like to read the physical book, and if not, I'm going to go PDF, and then my third option would be audio. But some people, I know a pastor, actually, this should make you feel good. He reads the Bible as he exercises audibly, and he gets through the Bible like 5 times a year. So I've never read the Bible 5 times in a year. I read my Bible every day. I don't get it through 5 times a year. So I'm going to tell you, you can get through more, and you probably fall asleep less, because that actually used to be a problem for me. I used to read at 4:30 in the morning, and I would wake up an hour later, and there'd be drool on my book. I'm a drooler. It is what it is.
I don't think the goal is to necessarily read more.
That's so cute. That is my daughter.
Well, it depends what your goal is, right? And you can put yourself a goal with number of books or number. But for me, I got to tell you, with my ADHD, I can't, it's hard for me to read paper books. I do read them, but I'm much more into audiobooks. Yeah. And podcasts.
Something big happening on the news right now. I have no idea.
On the news right now?
Yeah.
Related to what?
I have no idea.
Uh-oh. Something good or something bad?
I'm not sure.
Live blog, ladies and gentlemen. Live show. Let's see. Biden and Harris hold.
Yeah, that's all I see on my phone. I don't know. Anyways, whatever it is, I hope it's not horrible news. I hope it's something fun.
All right. I don't know.
Oh, here we go. This is my new best friend, Anne. I love this lady. First of all, she's over in the UK. I met her, I believe.
It's late.
Yeah, I met her through Kirsty Bonner, I believe. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe so. Anyways, she's in the UK. She's so friendly. She supports my posts, and anyways. And she likes hardback books. Come on, man. We need to join a book club together. What are we going to read first?
Nice meeting you, Anne.
This is Sabrina. Sabrina was one of my Project Help You Grow interns for a very brief moment. I hired these interns not knowing that I was going to get furloughed, and then I got furloughed, and then I got laid off, and I was like, "Look, guys, I hate to do this to you, but I got to stop this thing because I got to start a business," and I just didn't want to be unfair to them. But Sabrina is so cool. She's an awesome person. And what do you mean by that? Regular books require more attention. Of course they do. That's the fun. If you have the time. That's why I like blogs. That's why we're doing the show. Here's one for you. Okay. I'm the host, so the comments are gonna run more pro Ira, just so you know.
Virginia.
Virginia's got your back there, buddy.
Yeah.
Dan Bigger Audio helps for some things. Cheers. There, I do like audiobooks. I like the fact that they can pipe in different sounds, some audio sounds depends on the production value.
Oh my God. Let me tell you something about audiobooks. If you, especially people like me with ADHD, if you run into a narrator that their pitch is annoying you or their accent or whatever, that's it. This is like, no, I can't.
Okay.
Oh my God.
All right. Well, you talked about my Bible reading already, and I read my actual Bible, right? So it's not an audio version. But when I was doing the books in the car, I was trying to do the Bible reading too. And there's an app, I think it's called Bible app or something. The narrator was so mentally grinding on me. I felt like I was sinning because I'm listening to this person read scripture and I'm thinking about how much they annoy me. So I had to stop anyways. But to your point, yes, a bad narrator is awful. On the contrary, though, you can get some of these like a Charleston Heston type voice. You get some of them that they could just read anything. Like I'm going to give you a perfect example. Do you know Virginia, my friend Virginia, Coach V?
I just saw the name. I don't know.
Tarnowski is her name. Anyways, Virginia, she is from Scotland.
Oh.
Awesome. She lives in the Cayman Islands. She works with her husband in the Cayman Islands.
Do they hire?
I'm sorry?
Do they hire?
Who do they hire? What do you mean? Who they hire?
Do they hire?
Oh, I don't know.
Sounds great. Living in the Cayman Islands.
Yeah, they probably do. But anyways, my point is I could listen to that lady talk about anything. I mean, anything. In fact, half the time she's talking, I don't even know what the hell she just said. I'm just going to be completely honest. Like,
oh my God! Listen, Ira. I had a neighbor. I had a neighbor from Scotland, right?
Yeah, they're funny people too.
He called me one day and left me a voicemail, right? So I call him back. I said, "Dude, do me a favor. Next time, just text me because I didn't understand a word."
I've said this to her several times. Can you email that to me? Sure.
We used to bring him to gatherings. Just as entertainment. Just sit here, stand here, and talk. Just talk. Go ahead, man.
This is a good point, Paula, and you might be doing this too, Alon. I used to run on a treadmill, which drove my wife insane because it was upstairs, and when I run for like 10 to 15 miles, believe it or not. Wow. So it's going for hours, and I'm thudding, boom, 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 because I'm a big fat I'm short, but I'm fat. I'm heavy. Anyways, so you know how that goes. So my wife is like, I can't take it. It's like the dryer pounding for hours. Yeah. But I was listening to, books and stuff while I ran. Anyways, but I do like to listen to either music or somebody saying something when I'm working out. I don't know.
Oh, I'm always listen. I run, I walk. Always had something listening to if I'm not on a call. I'm doing podcasts recently. Inspiring podcasts. But yeah, I always listen. So most of my audiobooks that I listen to is when I drive or work out. Yeah.
All right. Well, I think we're gonna keep this to an hour show. So we're gonna wrap this up for now. You don't know what your next blog is gonna be about. So here's the thing you guys could do. Get on Alon's profile right now. Message, first you got to send him a connection request. Bring it to him. He wants it. So connect with him.
Send me a hug.
Yeah, there you go. And then send them hey, if you have a suggestion, send them a suggestion. Like, hey,
Yeah.
what we'd really like to know is
Please.
how do you put up with Ira for an hour every other week? We should do that one time. We should have a user show where, maybe if they suggest, if they're the one who does the suggestion that you write about, we can bring them on as a guest.
Oh yeah.
That would be
Please
kind
reach out, and I'll reach out to them and talk about it and explore it.
Yeah.
And you know what we should? You know what? Another thing I think we should do somehow is go like this for a second, Ira. So we can talk. No, the other way. The other way. The other way. It's the other way.
See, it's the opposite.
Oh,
I still haven't figured out how this technology works because.
But yeah, so thank you for today, Ira. Really, it's been unbelievable. I'm so excited, and for everybody who's listening and keep giving us feedback. And I'm looking forward 2 weeks from now, Ira. I'm going to be doing this session in 2 weeks from Israel.
Oh, that'll be cool.
Yeah,
but it's going to be really, really early.
No, it's going to be late.
With high fiving?
Yeah, it's going to be late.
My hand disappeared.
It's going to be late, but it doesn't matter. I'm going to be in quarantine. There's 2 weeks mandatory quarantine. I'm going to visit my mom and my daughter over there.
Oh, that's going to be awesome.
So, yeah.
My dream is to go over there. I've never been there. So I really do want to go there. I want to spend a lot of time. My family history is Hebrew. So I want to go.
We'll make it happen. We'll give it time in next year, 2 years, whatever it is. We'll put a goal, line in the sand, Ira, you and I. I have a feeling we just started. And for what I see, we're doing something right here. And this is just the best feeling in the world. Thank you, everybody. I couldn't tell you how much I appreciate it.
I love Tetris. We should talk about Tetris sometime. There's something about it. And I still think I play like knockoff versions of Tetris now on my phone. There's all these apps.
Paul, I guess you're going really slow on the bike, huh?
What do you mean? You use your arms like I'm leaning. I'm usually leaning as I pedal. You don't do that? You don't put your elbow down on something? You get more of a workout that way.
I have a good friend who does a lot of spin classes. She's like the master of spin class. And you get up, you go down, you get up, you go down, you go uphill, downhill. How can you play Tetris while you biking?
Ride with me. I'll show you.
Yeah.
I'll show you.
Oh, man.
We won't be doing any spin class. We'll be doing sweating to the oldies. All right. So for those of you who missed the introduction, I'm going to put this up. And here we go. I'm going to pull us. No, I can't. Yeah, I can. No, I can't. Yes, I can. No, I can't. I don't know. Here we go. Nope. Is there a way to do it? There it is. That's what I was trying to do. That technology, got to get it to work. So every other Wednesday, 1 o'clock Pacific, 4 o'clock Eastern, or whatever time zone you're in, just adjust for that. We are going to be back doing this on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on YouTube, wherever you'd like to find us. You can find us. Find my friend Alon on his website, please. AlonZybert.com. Read his blog. He puts it out every other Thursday. So this coming Thursday will be the next one. Now, he doesn't know what he's doing yet because he's kind of a slacker, but he will get that taken care of, and he'll get it written, Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday morning, whenever you get that out. But you can read it. Then what I'm going to do on Thursday this coming week is I'm going to post the blog too, to make sure everybody sees it. And I'm going to take this week's link to the video and put it there too, so you can watch this week's show in preparation for next week. Next week, we will do this again. It's going to be a lot of fun. I hope it's been a lot of fun.
Not next week, the following week.
The following week. Yep. Sorry. This Thursday, the blog comes out. Next Wednesday, the following Wednesday, 2 weeks from today, we'll be back on 1 o'clock Pacific, 4 o'clock Eastern. We really hope that you will mark your calendars and join us. If you are curious, you can just go to LinkedIn, go to my profile, bookmark that, and then come visit at that time. Or you can go to Facebook, bowmandigitalmedia.com's page on Facebook, and find it there. I will put that in the link in the comments here. And then you can also follow my YouTube channel if you prefer. And so you can find us any one of those different ways. You have choices. So we hope that you will join us. You're going to be in Israel in 2 weeks. That is going to be awesome. So I'll have to ask you about that. It looks like we're going to have with us next time Betty Kempa. That is the guest that I have penciled in. If you guys don't know Betty Kempa, she is a professional who helps women adjust their career path to go from something they are not happy in to something they are more happy in. That is her whole goal. I used to know her. I met her when she was living in the Bay Area, and now she is coming to us from the great state of Colorado. So she'll bring a different element to the show too. We'll talk about what she's got going on. She writes a lot of blogs. She actually publishes them as articles on LinkedIn. So we'll talk about that too. We'll catch up with Alon, all the things going on in Israel. And of course, we will go through the blog again and talk about that. Until then, we hope you have had a good time with us. We have had a good time with you. And now it's time to rock out to some music, as I always do.
All right. Thank you, man. Have a great evening.
Hey,
Bye,
thanks
everybody.
for joining me. It was awesome.
Thanks.